Let's have a look at the app config 1 where we have hard-coded the values of these in a Java program, so which is not a good practice. The best practice is to externalize these values into a properties file so that they can be changed without having to recompile our programs, as well as we can supply them at the runtime via the runtime parameters. To do the same, first let's go to our SRC main resources. Let's create a new properties file. So I don't see a properties file or new file over here. I go to other, and under general we have a file option. I can click on next, and since I selected that SRC main resources, that's what is shown over here. We can give any name we want. Let's give the name as jdbc.properties. Finish. And here we will give some key value pairs that represent these values. Let's give the key as jdbc.driver equals to org.h2.driver, jdbc.url equals to jdbc:/h2:tcp:/localhost/ your home directory /spring-training, that's the name of the DB, jdbc.user equals to SA, jdbc.password equals to blank string. The keys are totally your choice. You can give anything you want, but this is the practice that I have developed. So now I can go to my app config 1 and tell that there is a properties file called jdbc.properties in our class path, and we have to load these keys from there. To do that, we go to app config 1 and add an annotation called property source. The property source annotation can be configured with an array of strings or a single string. In my case, I have a single properties file here, and the property file is found in the class path and the name is jdbc.properties. So this file now contains all the key value pairs. So it has already loaded using something like a resource bundle, but we now want to get those things into these functions here. So to do that, let's declare a couple of variables. Let's declare the variables, whatever the variables that we want corresponding to these property keys here. So I have here driver, URL, user, password. So I'm going to use the same thing over here. I'll say private string, I can say driver, or I can use driver class name, which is what is the parameter of this setter here. We also have string URL. We have here private string user, private string password. To read the value from these properties and assign an appropriate value from the key, we can say here @value, which is an annotation from Spring, not from Lombok, and then specify that it is supposed to get jdbc.driver, which is the actual key for which there is a value called org.h2.driver, and this is a value that we want to inject into this variable. Likewise, I can now copy this and paste for all of them. So I'm going to change this to URL. This is going to be your user, and then the last one is the password. So now I have all the values read from the JDBC properties to these member variables. We can now make use of the same over here. So by just typing here driver class name, this is going to be the URL, this is user and password. And now that we have made the changes, we can verify whether this is actually working or not by going to our application, run the same. Since there is no error, I should simply get the result. But in case if I give a wrong password, for example, let's say I give here Vinod, save it, run the code. Since the password is wrong, this should give me an error saying that wrong username or password. So that's the message that I'm getting over here. Let's go back, change that to an empty string, save this, run the code, get the output once again properly.